Hey everyone, welcome back to Mason Zero ASMR. Today, based on a suggestion from a commenter, I'm going to be talking about my favorite video games. This suggestion came from, let me check, the suggestion came from Greasius ASMR. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Said a video about your favorite video games would be great too. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. This is sort of a follow-up to the video talking about my gaming PC, which you can see on my channel. It's my previous video to this one. Anyways, let's jump into it. The footage that you're going to be seeing in the background, stuff that I recorded for this video, so it's not all going to be particularly interesting. Some of these games I have not played in a long time and sort of had to start over, or didn't do very well. So the first game is going to be The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. The footage you're seeing is from Skyrim Special Edition. My character on here is only like level 2, so there's nothing interesting going on, and the reason for this is because my regular version of Skyrim, I've modded so much over the years, and that my main game that I've spent hundreds of hours on is basically ruined to the point that I can't access it anymore. So Skyrim is a game that people here in the ASMR world know pretty well, thanks to the ASMR Nerd and his series of Wandering in Skyrim. Skyrim can be a very relaxing game because it requires a lot of wandering through beautiful landscapes and with some nice relaxing music in the background. So it works very well. It can also be a very action-packed game and have a lot of other facets to it. It is itself a role-playing game, so you can make your character be whatever you want. You can have them be a knight with heavy armor and hammers and stuff, or you can have it be a stealthy archer or a wizard or anything in between. That's one of the appealing things about the game, is that you can do essentially whatever you want. There's tons and tons of quests and directions you can go, and it's completely open world. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to do the main quest of the game, because after you finish that, the game continues on. It does not end. So you can pretty much keep doing whatever you want, and the modding community has kept the game very much alive. So yeah, Skyrim is something I've sucked over 300 hours in, which by comparison to a lot of people is not a lot. But I spent a lot of time playing it, enjoying it. A lot of times at night, just relaxing and hanging out, wandering in Skyrim and completing quests. I'm sure at some point I will go back to spending hundreds of hours in it, but I've been distracted by other things lately. So, yeah, Skyrim is definitely up there, and I think that's a lot of people's favorite game, or at least it's up there, just because it has something that appeals to everyone. You can be in first person, you can be in third person, you can adopt whatever playstyle you want, and it's just a lot of fun. I think a lot of people have played it by now, and even though it came out in 2011, it's been 7 years and there hasn't been another one yet, but there's been a lot of fan-made games, a lot of rumors and speculation about new games, and of course there's been The Elder Scrolls Online, which I didn't play. So yeah, Skyrim is probably my favorite game out of all of the ones here. Next up is Fortnite Battle Royale. everybody's favorite game recently, of course. I have been playing this since January 2018, so as of now it's been about 7 or 8 months that I've been playing. And I enjoy it, obviously. I've been playing it almost every day since then. And it's so addicting to play because the games are relatively short. For those that somehow don't know about Fortnite, the premise is that 100 people, 100 players, get on a bus that's flying through the sky and then drop onto an island that's full of weapons and building materials and stuff like that. And then you fight to the death until there is one person left. This game separates itself from all the other competitors because it is sort of brightly colored and sort of cartoonish. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It is an interesting game because it is always changing, always updating, so weapons are getting tweaked and certain things are being added. So, if you take a break for too long, the game could have completely changed. Even the map has changed gradually over time. It's currently one of the most successful games out there and has made a lot of money, despite it being free to play, because there are cosmetic items that you can pay real money on, which of course I have done, but it's not really worth it, but it's only $10. And then if you keep playing the game, then you can get enough in-game money naturally in order to keep buying more stuff. So, yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm very good at it. I have never... There's different ways you can play. There's solo, which is the normal way, where it's just you versus 99 other people fighting for themselves. And I've never won a game in that mode. I have won a few in a duo mode, where you're with a partner. And then I think I've won one game in squads, which is where you can have up to 4 people on your team. I have streamed Fortnite on this channel before, just once, and I have a whole bunch of Fortnite videos. I don't think I have videos of any of these other games on here, although I do have a little bit of Skyrim, but not too much. So yes, Fortnite is one of my favorite games right now, and even though it's relatively new, I think it does deserve a spot on this list because of how much time I've sucked into it, how much I've been enjoying it. The next on my list of favorite games is Homeworld 2. Homeworld 2 is a strategy game, a real-time strategy. It came out originally in 2003, and was recently re-released with remastered graphics. The footage that you're seeing is from that version of it. It's been remastered with the new graphics, new sound, a whole bunch of new stuff. And whether I'm playing that version or the original version, it's a lot of fun. First of all, the original version had great graphics for its time. It was fully 3D. I think it looked great. I think it holds up well. But the premise is that you are in space, so the three-dimensional aspect really comes into play. It's not just moving units forward and backwards and left to right, it's moving them up and down as well. So that adds a new element that most strategy games don't have. And the story in the game is that, so it's the second game. The first game is good, but I do prefer the second one. The first game features people on a planet who were exiled there long ago, and they find a hyperspace core that allows them to travel the galaxy. And they do that in search of their homeworld, hence the title of the game. And the game is about their struggle through enemy forces to eventually take back their planet. And the second game is after they have claimed their planet and a new enemy has arisen, who sees himself as the chosen one, and they unlock a lot of ancient alien secrets in their galaxy. And the story is pretty compelling for a game that doesn't necessarily need one, because strategy is the main part, but there are some unique situations that you can find yourself in. There are a lot of units that serve special purposes, and you can get very creative in your strategy in trying to finish each mission. And then you can also play against the computer or play against real people in a standard sort of versus mode, which I've spent a lot of hours playing against the computer, but I've never played against another person, mostly because I don't know anyone who plays the game. But yes, this is something I've spent a lot of time on over the years. I didn't start playing it in 2003, and the original game came out in 1999 or something. And I think it was probably around 2004 or 2005 that I was playing the original Homeworld, and then a bit later I played Homeworld 2. So I've been playing them for quite a while. The next game on my list is Warframe. This is a game that I have not played much lately, and this footage that you're seeing probably reflects that a bit. I am very rusty and had to get used to the controls again, but it is a game that I spent a lot of time in. In fact, I spent as much time in this game as I did in Skyrim, in a much shorter amount of time. I was introduced to it by one of my friends at my previous job a while back, so I decided to try it out, and I really enjoyed it. It's a third-person action game, sort of a shooter, but there's also a lot of melee in it, so it's sort of a third-person hack-and-slash shooter combo, and you go through different smaller mission areas and claim rewards in their accomplished tasks, and gradually sort of move through the map. It is a semi-online game. I think you could probably play the entire thing really without ever using the online aspects, but you can bring other people in to join in your missions to help you out, which can be nice if they're a higher level and you need to complete a mission but you keep dying. You can bring one of your friends in who is higher level and better at the game. It's a free-to-play game, so there's a lot of grinding involved. So you slowly harvest resources and missions and then build better items and then level up those items and then gradually get better and better stuff. So that's a big portion of the game, is just farming for the resources you need. But it's fun because the missions are enjoyable, they're fast-paced, the graphics look really nice, and the physics and animations make everything look really cool. There's a lot of cool and unique powers. You can use a bunch of different characters throughout the game that each have their own unique set of abilities. So it doesn't really get stale, even when you're repeating the same missions over and over again. And it is challenging. I've died plenty of times, but it's never that frustrating because, most of the time you will have a way out, and it's just because you're not high enough level. It doesn't have as much to do with skill or luck. It's just that you need to have better stuff. So yes, Warframe is a lot of fun. The next game we're going to talk about is League of Legends. League of Legends is, of course, a very controversial game because of the toxic community over the years, but I played it for several years and had a lot of fun. I think I played it for 3 years pretty consistently, give or take. Something like that. It is an online game where 2 teams of 5 choose different characters, and basically the goal is to fight your way to their base and take out the Nexus, which is just a thing that you have to attack to win the game. And it's another one of those games that's very addicting to play, although the rounds are about 45 minutes to an hour, so they do last a pretty long time. But with all the different characters and the different abilities, it is fun to try out different ones and hone your skills in those particular characters. This footage that you're seeing is very old. I think it's from 2015, because I just haven't really played since then at all. So, I think last time I played was probably 2016, maybe a little bit in 2017, but this was the last time I was seriously playing. So I didn't want to record any new footage because that'd probably be terrible. So that's hence the lower quality of this footage, because it's from my old computer. But League of Legends is very, very fun, and I spent a lot of time with my girlfriend playing this game. A lot of these games, really. Warframe and Fortnite, we spent a lot of time playing together. But League of Legends is sort of how we started talking, and yeah, we played a lot of that together. My favorite role to play in the game is support, which is not a very popular role. It's sort of focused on healing and stunning enemies so that the real attackers can finish them. So it usually goes uncredited because you generally don't kill very many enemies, so you can't really show what you did, and if you did something wrong or the other person died, then it's your fault because you didn't heal them enough. So it's not the most appreciated, but I find it to be a lot of fun. So that is what I do in that game. The next game I want to talk about is a racing game called Flatout Ultimate Carnage. I started playing this game in high school, then I played it some more throughout college. It was just kind of a good time waster. Like arcade style racing game with an emphasis on destruction. So the cars and the environment are very destructible, which was something that I enjoyed. I grew up playing a lot of Need for Speed games, and one of the things that those games didn't really have was destructible environments. So when I saw and started playing this game that has thousands and thousands of interactable items in each game or each map, that was amazing to me. The game's pretty old now. I think it came out in 2008, so it hasn't really held up that much, but I still find it to be fun. I actually didn't have it on my computer for a while. I have the old disc version, but I didn't bother installing it. And then on my birthday, one of my friends gifted me the Steam version of the game, which was nice. And actually, when I installed it, I found out that it didn't work unless you install games for Windows Live, which is something that doesn't get used anymore. And I was surprised that it's still live and still worked, but that had to be installed first. So that was a fun adventure to get this game to even run. But yeah, I've spent a lot of time in this. It's kind of unique because it, not only the destructible stuff, but also it has a challenge mode where you do stunts, like you play basketball with your car or something. Like you have the ability to launch your driver out of the car, so that plays into a lot of the stunts as well, like shooting them into hoops and stuff. It's just a silly game. One of my favorite parts is actually the soundtrack. The soundtrack is a very good selection of hard rock that pretty much all came out in 2006, which that area of time was a good time for rock. So there's some really good music on there. The last game I want to talk about is another real-time strategy game called Zero AD. It is based off of Age of Empires, I believe. But it is currently an alpha. It has been an alpha for years. It is a slowly building game. It's free to play. It's just a community effort of people programming it and coming up with stuff for it. And I've been following it for quite a while. I think I started playing it in college, so it's probably been 6 or 7 years since I found it. and it's just kind of been a nice time waster for me. I just go in and play against the computer, and I've almost never won, but because the AI is too good, it seems to be able to produce units and buildings faster than humanly possible, and then they come and attack me and I barely have anything. But it's fun to just chill out and play, build up a city, build up an army and stuff. The footage you're seeing is a sped up game that I recorded for this, and I don't quite get to the end because I get basically slaughtered and don't have the resources to build up my city again, so I just quit the game. But you can see the fun of building and pitting armies against each other. You can have I think you'd have multiple teams on a given map, and there's also online support for playing against real people, which I think I only did once with someone else, and there were connection problems at the time. But yes, a very, very fun game. It definitely takes a long time to do something, but if you're just looking to relax, it can be enjoyable. You can slow down and speed up time, which works well if you're stressed about getting something done in the game. You can slow things down and command your army to attack certain parts of the enemy instead of worrying about that happening in real time. So this is only a handful of games that I play and that I enjoy. There's a lot more games that I play, but I would say these are the ones that I would classify as my favorites. Every other game that I play is great in its own way, but I just don't play it enough. So I will end the video here, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know in the comments what your favorite games are, and maybe if you play any of these games online, let me know and we can play together sometime. I would be happy to do so. Maybe I'll do another stream sometime. We can play some of these games online. Thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Hope you have a great night.